Canada's economic outlook is facing renewed scrutiny as labor market cracks down to show and questions around growing policy and positioning come back into focus. With unemployment edging higher and the global uncertainty still in play, investors are weighing whether the country is heading towards a slowdown or something more severe. At the same time, structural forces like demographics and population growth continue to shape the longer-term picture, while comparisons with the U.S. remain central to asset allocation decisions. For perspective on what it all means for the market and the economy, I'm now joined by Brendan Caldwell, Director of Caldwell Securities Limited. Brendan, thank you so much for the time today.
Theresa, always great to be here.
Now, do you think markets are underreacting or overreacting to the recent rise in unemployment?
It's a funny thing that you would think that people would take the unemployment rate as being something, but markets are always remarkably indifferent to whether people have work or not. It doesn't make capitalists seem like good people because what actually makes a stock go up is really two things. One, how much money they're making or the market perceives that they will make over time. And two, what those earnings are really worth, both now and in the future. And the determinant for that is interest rates. So the funny thing is that higher unemployment tends to mean that the government is likely to, the federal, the central banks are likely to cut interest rates, which lower interest rates make it easier to make money in a business. So generally speaking, there is, if anything, an inverse correlation between the possibility of rising unemployment rates and the stock market. So if you say they're reacting or under or reacting or not reacting, they tend not to react. But if anything, if the unemployment rate were to go up and central banks were to cut rates as a result, then you'd actually see that be good for stocks, which again gives capitalists a bad name.
Now, yesterday, Prime Minister Mark Carney posted a video on YouTube talking about the challenging times that Canadians are going to be facing and just what it means for the months ahead. So I want to ask how likely you think a recession in Canada is coming. Is it going to be in the next 12 months? Is there a recession coming at all? And what's making you lean that way?
And his good friend, our premier, Doug Ford, heard him and decided to sell the jet that Ontario had just bought to transport him around because he really understands and is the man of the people. So, look, how does one say about government in general? They want to be at the cutting edge of solving problems, even if it's problems that they have themselves had a large hand in creating. So it's good to have rah-rah videos, but I'm not sure that whether you're Ontario or Canada, that promotional videos and spending money on that to make people feel good about the government is quite the same thing as actually doing something. So I do think, in answer to your question about recession, I think Canada's actually full on in a recession. Perhaps not the way it's traditionally measured, but our economic growth has slowed considerably. It is considerably slower than our G7 counterparts, are the other big industrialized countries in the world, actually big industrialized countries in the world. I mean, we may be the Ringo Starr of that group, but we're still considered among the bigger developed economies. And yeah, we're not doing well. And you don't, I mean, I live in downtown Toronto, and you can say, oh, there's some evidence of poverty here, or some evidence of poverty there. You go outside downtown Toronto, small town Ontario, and it's a mess. So, I mean, even in Toronto, and you and I have discussed, I mean, my little church at Avenue Road in DuPont has got 500 families lined outside of it on a Wednesday to get food. We never saw that in my entire lifetime. You never saw that in the 1930s during the Depression. So to ask if we're in a recession, no, not taking offense to your question, but we are clearly in some sort of economic downturn, the likes of which, frankly, our country's never seen.
Well, I want to talk to you from an investment perspective. How does Canada stack up today versus the United States? Are you overweight, underweight, or neutral?
Well, funnily enough, during this difficult time, our best performing strategy has been our Canadian value momentum strategy, because there's a lot, even amongst all the difficulties our nation is having, we are inherently a nation of innovators. And while the Americans will thump their chest, USA number one, a lot of the good ideas, including AI, are actually Canadian. AI was developed just up the street here in its modern form near the University of Toronto, at the University of Toronto. So there's a lot of interesting innovation going on in this country. So there are some very cool up and coming companies. Now, one of the things that being economically weaker might entail is a lower Canadian dollar. That actually helps a lot of our producers, since most commodities, and Canada is still very big in commodities, are priced in US dollars. So even if things are bad economically, it can still be a very good investment to invest at home. And if people aren't going to buy California wine, they're going to buy it from the Okanagan or from Niagara instead. Maybe they should think the same way about stocks, because there's actually a lot to recommend Canadian companies.
And how do you think Canada's population growth and aging demographics are impacting the economy if they are?
Well, it's a thing, and it's a thing in all the developed world, is that people have simply stopped having kids. And while immigration can be a supplement to natural population growth, it is an imperfect substitute. Great having new Canadians come. Virtually everybody is descended from a new Canadian at some point in time. So it's great to have them, but we need to continue to grow the population naturally if we want Canada to continue on as a viable entity. I mean, a lot of the economic growth we've seen in the last couple of years is because we welcomed so many people, but we've now slammed the brakes on that. And I've even found it challenging keeping some of the great people that we have here, making sure that they get their status and everything. So we've worked on training for a couple of years. It's been hard actually getting them from work permit to PR status. So it's an actual challenge for Canadian businesses, the way the demographics have had their foot on the accelerator and now hard on the brake. But we've overcome greater things.
Well, Brennan, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Theresa, very much.